Hello and welcome to Switched On, our weekly, more like monthly podcast at the moment. My name is Mike and we've got a few things to discuss today. We've had a busy week. We've had the Video Game Awards, we've had the Game of the Year winner, we've had a few other interesting news articles from Nintendo. I'm here with co-channel creator Riddle, and let's get started. So I think straight out of the gate, we all knew who was going to win Game of the Year. We all knew what was going to win Game of the Year.
Yep.
If anyone thought any different, I think they were a bit deluded. No matter how good the games were this year, it was one of the best years for games across all platforms. It's game of the decade. Zelda Breath of the Wild, right?
Definitely. I mean, I'll probably say from my experience with Zelda, I've recently been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and I'm not going to lie to you, I think it's actually a really good game, and I've been loving it.
Looks solid.
It is a solid game, solid storyline, but you can't climb everything.
It doesn't pass the Breath of the Wild test.
No, that just comes down to it.
That's why I think Zelda's the Game of the Year. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later about like our own reasoning for our Game of the Year, and well, it's probably not going to be a shot. Mine is going to be Zelda, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But I was looking at what separates Zelda from all the other games that were at the Video Game Awards. I mean, we had quite a few big hitters there. I mean, we had two from Nintendo. We had Mario in the same breath, but Breath of the Wild. But the reality is, as great as Mario is, Zelda done so much more. It took video gaming as a whole to another level, not just the franchise, not just the genre. I really do think games will change from it. I can see it happening. Well, why not? Like the formula works, right? You just got to get the right developers and get the ideas out there. But yeah, Game of the Year. I think it also won Best Directed Game. It definitely won Best Action Game. And just look at it. You haven't seen the actual announcement, have you?
Haven't seen it yet. No.
The joy on Eiji Nomura's face was just something. You know they love making that game. They're so proud of it. I'm kind of glad that Miyamoto wasn't there, because I think it's important to recognise just how much Eiji Nomura is responsible for the Zelda franchise now. Like, I never even knew when I was younger that Ocarina of Time was directed by him, not by Miyamoto. He just produced it, right? They correlated ideas. Obviously, it's the boss, it's his baby. But Eiji Nomura is responsible for the Zelda we know and love, at least in the 3D space.
Well, the thing about Zelda that they did this time, there were no instructions. You were just chucked in there, and if you're chucked in there, a lot of people were. I think a lot of people who didn't like it weren't comfortable with that.
I haven't met anyone who hasn't liked it yet, though. That's the crazy thing.
You know, the couple of critics who just said, "Oh, it ain't that good."
Oh yeah, but there's critics out there who say that Mario Odyssey is an easy game. Well, it might be not that hard, but
certain things aren't that hard.
But there are some challenges in that game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But you got to kind of look at, for me personally, we've already had this discussion well before, obviously, we're going to make this video. We've already agreed that Breath of the Wild, no matter what game you've played, it's changed everything. It's pushed the boundaries again. But Ocarina of Time did it with 64, pushed the boundaries.
Well, ironically, I think Mario back then probably pushed the boundaries of game design more so than what maybe Ocarina of Time did. But the whole game industry shifted towards that 3D action adventure model rather than the platform genre sort of like went to the wayside. It was always the dominant genre in 2D. But no, I mean, Breath of the Wild is an incredible game. Just the idea of
the beauty of the game.
There's no quest markers, man.
Yeah, there isn't.
Like, here's the biggest map you've ever known from like a Zelda fan, and for most gamers, the biggest map they've ever known. Unless you played Skyrim, and even then, it's bigger than Skyrim's map. And it's like, cool. Where do you want to go?
Yeah,
go for it.
There's no limits either. You can go wherever you like. Okay, you'll get killed easier, but
but it's the very definition of trial, error, explore. Reward, and it's the rewards are. The idea of being rewarded in that game sort of sums up what's special about that game. There's a mountain. There's no marker on the map. There's no mission to go up the mountain. There's no incentive other than I want to climb that mountain. What could be up there? And the masterclass of game design in Breath of the Wild is that very idea. Like, well, you get to the top of the mountain and you feel rewarded. If most of the time there is something there. If it's just a Korok seed, If it's something a little bit more interesting, like a shrine, you get there, you feel rewarded, and if it's nothing there, you still feel accomplished because you look around and you can see things that you then can get to.
Correct.
That will offer you something.
Yeah.
And then you get your glider out and you get down a lot quicker and you get a lot further.
Yeah, but it's when you first get that glider, because the first like hour you're messing around, you don't even get the glider.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of trying to figure out what to do, and just like the extreme. Like cooking you can do, for example. Like, you're not into it, but...
Yeah, cooking is your thing now, right?
Yeah, man, I went straight for the cooking. I found stuff to make. I sat there and experimented. And do you know what? To help me in the game, I learned what could give me 20 hearts right at the start. And I was the first one out of our group to beat a Lionel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you persisted with that red Lionel way earlier than what you should.
Yeah, I did it
down. I was like, no, I'm coming back for that later.
No, I went straight in. I had barely any weapons. I had crappy swords, and I just went straight in for it because I was like, well, he's got better weapons than I have, and I want them, and that was the point of it.
But that takes me to another point about what's so good about this game. You don't level up in this game.
No.
What you do is you get better,
Yeah.
and then by getting better, you find better things. But those better things aren't permanent. So your improvement really is all about your skill and understanding of the world. If you have a better weapon, it will break. How do you get another better weapon? Because you understand where to find them, how to take down the enemies. That first time you fight a Lionel, you run away. If you don't run away, you die, right?
Oh, I just died.
Well.
And retried and kept on doing it.
But yeah, you run away, you train, you learn how to do it all in your own experience. There's no boosting your stats. Obviously, you got armor that helps with defense, and that is the key thing. Really, is your defense ability because that will help you to survive. But there are videos out there, and I've done it myself, where you beat a Lionel with nothing, not wearing anything, because it's the idea of how you fight it, what skills you use, and everyone does something in a different way. And I think with a lot of games, and a lot of games that win Game of the Year from a number of different outlets, not just the Video Game Awards, which hasn't been around that long. But when games win Game of the Year, they usually excel in one particular thing. Like, this is an incredible particular way of doing something in this game, and that's its shining beacon. Whereas I think Breath of the Wild isn't a jack of all trades. It's a master of many. It doesn't master everything, but it's great at doing one thing, it's great at doing another thing. It does something incredibly well, it does something really good. It doesn't really do anything very poor, but it does the action adventure side of things brilliantly. It does the exploration brilliantly. It's just so much, and I think that's what separates it to many games in the last decade. Many games.
I would say for Zelda, it's the experience. People have the thing about this game. Like I said to you, I personally love storylines in a game. If a story grips me, I will play that game to death. And if there's any mystery, there was mystery in it. There's storyline, but the experience of finding the weapons, finding the food, learning how to sneak past things, and doing weird tricks to try and take the enemies down, and just like learning stuff within the game. I think it's a work of art.
I think you've summed it up best. Is that experience. Obviously, every game is about the experience, but the experience you have in Zelda, at least from my perspective, is one of the very definition of adventure. Like, I'm a big Minecraft fan, for example. I like not so much creative side of things, but survival mode. I like the idea of you can do whatever you need to do to survive, and all these different things happen. But Zelda takes anything like that and just multiplies it by 10 because it has all these factors in place. Like you talk about food, about hidden side quests, weather, right? And the weather interacts with the environment so well.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating when it rains and you can't climb a cliff. But it's raining, you can't climb a cliff.
You're halfway up the cliff and sliding down.
But then you challenge yourself, right? You're like, I'm going to try and get to that ledge to recover, and then you get the climbing gear and it helps. To me, it's a no-brainer for Game of the Year. I think if I'd never played it, I probably would have still called it Game of the Year. But I don't know in what universe I would never play that game.
But then again, growing up with that Zelda franchise and seeing other games that sprung off it, I'm glad it won Game of the Year because I think it should have been on top of Metacritic's for this year. And I think it was poorly taken down. That was my personal opinion for someone's review that they didn't say it was a bad game.
The score is completely not reflective of what it should be. And
exactly.
And this is the thing that the only thing that gripes me with Metacritic and some of the scores is in some of the vetting processes. Anybody can score a game. you could be somebody who hardly ever plays games, and you could play Breath of the Wild, go, that's a 2 out of 10. But you've got to measure it against industry knowledge and understand what makes a game and why a game is good and what's relevant to the current trends in the gaming industry and how it's doing something new or how it's doing something really well that's really old. And I read that review, and it just very much sort of just spits over the idea of what it is doing really well. It kind of go, well, forget all that. It's the same with the Mario, the Heavy Mario Odyssey critic. And it's like, oh, this game is this, that, and that, and it lacks this, this, and this. And no, it doesn't. It does everything else really well. We're going to have a 100% completionist review coming out for Odyssey, because I've done every single thing in that game pretty early on.
I couldn't.
That's my OCD. It's like my 200 hours into Zelda with everything done. I just I had to do it.
I had to do it with Zelda. I did 99% of everything.
Yeah, but I don't know if your Pro Controller can survive some of the challenges in Odyssey, man, because they're a bit different to what you get in Zelda.
The difference is with Mario is I love Mario, I love playing it, but Zelda, there's been a draw for that. It's definitely my first memory is Ocarina of playing it on the 64 and spending probably 400 hours trying to complete that game, and just because it was even less instructions in a way than Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, you can learn what to do, but you have to know where you're going. Some of the challenges when you're younger, you're just like, what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, the Water Temple is synonymous and famous on the internet for being like a nightmare temple that's really hard to do. If you hit that switch wrong, you're going all the way back down to reset it.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Or you go too high and then you have to go back down, and you're just like,
It's funny that, but as an adult, I'm like, how would I ever get this wrong? How would I get the switches wrong? But back then, our understanding as gamers and the way that the world worked, it was hard to wrap our heads around that. You know, what took 6 months to complete on the SNES when you're younger, it takes 6 hours now.
Yeah.
And I think, again, what Breath of the Wild does really well is it challenges the way we think as gamers and what we expect and the conventions we expect, both as a Zelda game. I just threw my sword away. What? How did I throw my sword away? To
chucking your sword by accident.
Wrong button and I can jump. What? You know, like take that.
That was quite funny.
Everyone done it. I think if you didn't,
I died a couple of times from doing that.
Accident, and,
you
know, but
had some memorable deaths. That was quite funny.
But gaming in general, just the idea of I can really walk in any direction in this game. I really can. I can go in any single direction. Yeah, I can play with physics in it, and I think physics, when it's done right, is a massive selling point for any game. That's what makes Portal 2 incredible. What made Half-Life series incredible. I mean, Half-Life is still quite ahead of its time when you look at what games do with physics now. And I think Breath of the Wild is going to be one of those like stamps in time for gamers. Like, this game come out this year, and this is what it done.
But if you look at like just simple things like looking at the cloud formations and the way they moved across the sky, which I'd done a few times, I was like, whoa. And like a lot of people discard it because it's cel shaded, but that made the game beautiful because it doesn't have to be realistic. A game is gripping.
Style is the most important thing when it comes to art, to graphical design. Because Zelda is on an underpowered system relative to what's out as a home console. Yeah. I mean, obviously the most powerful handheld in terms of performance. But as a home console, and I played nearly all of my Zelda experience at home, it's doing seamless open world in no real visible loading. And yet it looks fantastic, and it does that because of its style, and it's why Wind Waker holds up today. And other certain games hold up over time, whereas like certain other games, their style might look incredible on when the day it came out, but then, you know, I remember playing Condemned, a horror game on the 360. I thought it looked incredible when it came out. Look at it now, I'm like, well, it's just like a mobile game now.
Yeah, exactly. There's loads of games do that though. You've got to think about it.
Yeah, it's no substance. That's shallow, right?
Yeah, it is. But that's what kind of I liked about it. I don't want photorealistic games because after you play them, like, oh well, this ain't right, and you go and play for them again. Like with Zelda, it's just it's like playing in a painting. That's the only way I can describe it.
It's a good way of putting it, actually.
It's playing in a painting, and you're just there, and the way you watch the grass move, and just it's just so much physics in that game. It's unreal.
I mean, we're both big graphics buffs. I mean, we've got our 1440p monitors and our ultra settings on our PCs and whatnot. Like, we do love that, right? That's important to us. So I do like games that look really good, but I think it's easier to make a game run in a nice frame rate with a great like flaring sun that looks great with shadow effects. That doesn't age very well. It's very hard to get a game that ages well. Like someone like Far Cry 3 has aged really well. They've got the graphics blend really well with the environment which you're playing in.
Even Crysis looks good now. I know that's a different sort of beast, but if you still play it now, it still looks pretty decent.
Well, that was the benchmark, wasn't it? Can it run Crysis for
so long? Yeah, exactly.
Because it was a poorly optimised game. Well, chuck in all the foliage. Let's just make 20 times more trees than what you need, right?
Well, to be fair, if they sort of updated it a bit now, I reckon it would run really well on our systems because we've got the power now. But back then,
I mean, Crysis came to the Nvidia Shield console before, didn't it? Or it was at least demoing the fact that the Nvidia Shield could run Crysis. Not Crysis 1, but it could do it, and therefore the Switch can. Before we move on to our next topic, which we could easily segue with the Nvidia Shield, I want to hold fire a little bit and just really discuss our opinions on why we think, and we sort of touched on it, but why we think Zelda above Mario is a clear game of the year. Because to me, it's a clear win, and it wasn't at first. I came off the back of Mario and went, Mario might just be better. Mario might just win.
I didn't.
In hindsight, I did. I really enjoyed Mario, but I've had some time to retrospectively look back and go, wait, no.
Don't get me wrong. I thought that first few times I played it, and then I sort of set back and thought, what did I do in Zelda? And then I thought about the great experiences. I think for us, because me, you, and Sai all played it at the same time, our experience of Breath of the Wild was probably different. We were all discovering things and say, have you discovered this? And that's what made it synonymous.
Pièce de résistance, if you like.
Yeah, exactly.
Breath of the Wild is, you done what?
Yeah.
Don't tell me, no, don't spoil it. I've done this, no, don't spoil that. Like, where did you go? How did you get there? There's, what, you done that to the dragon? Like, the things happen in that game that everyone has a different experience. And there was an article I saw when it first came out about how it's secretly the best multiplayer game of the generation. Because no, it's not multiplayer, but everyone was playing it together and everyone's having a different experience, and it felt very multiplayer-like in that respect.
Yeah, and Seb, what did you do?
And how many moments in Zelda were there, this, oh my god, that, oh my god, that was incredible. And there were so many great to incredible experiences where I think with Mario Odyssey, there were standout moments that are mind-blowing, that warmed my nostalgia, that made me feel like I was 10 again playing Mario 64. But there are just a few standout moments. The rest is an incredible game, but the moments that stand out are few and far between. And I touched on this in my review. The levels, for example, in Odyssey, don't have that same synonymous meaning with the game as, say, the levels from Mario 64.
Yes.
Everyone knows Jolly Roger Bay. They think of the water level. They think of Jolly Roger Bay. They think of Mario. They think of the sand level. They think of I'm talking for everyone, but those levels are ingrained in your mind. Whereas I think in Odyssey, it relies on a few big hitters to do that. New Donk City, the Lake Kingdom is forgettable.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
Cloud Kingdom is 100% forgettable.
Yeah.
So I think they're the key differences. While you might forget the whole world in Breath of the Wild, you don't forget the feeling and experiences that you had.
I don't know, if you put enough hours in, you do remember it. You get in there and it's like, whoa.
I'm scared to go back.
Yeah, I feel like I'm out of practice. Which will lead us on to, obviously, I think that's kind of our discussion with why we think it's the best of the year.
Segue
into the next part of Zelda's DLC, which is the Champions Ballad.
It looks so good. I love the way Nintendo do this. Like, another company comes out and goes, here's a trailer of a game expected sometime within the next decade. Then there's like, here's the trailer for our DLC. It's out tonight.
Yeah,
they do that so
enjoy
much. It's like, wait, what? I know they said it was coming out in December, but I would have bet my Switch that it was going to be delayed until New Year.
See, I thought it was the 27th it was coming out. That was where it was originally released. But I think they brought it forward because they were ready and happy with how Mario went. That's what I think. That's what I honestly think. And they brought it out. I mean, I've only just seen the trailer because I've been busy like in the last week since they released it.
School you on that to bring up to speed.
Yeah, a little. But I've seen the trailer and it looks damn good. And I must admit, from playing Breath of the Wild, the experience I got from that was like a pure month worth of enjoyment. And it's been many years since I've enjoyed a game that much.
Yeah, it'd be about a decade for me. Uncharted 2 was the last time I had this sort of like, I left the game with a smile on my face, like, whoa.
I don't know. I have had like one or two others. Like Black Flag for me was just like one of these games.
I played it, but yeah,
I've smashed.
Free on the 12th on Uplay.
Yep, if you want to get it, or if you like me and already bought it on Steam,
No, you must
PS4,
have had it,
PS3, Xbox 360, and Xbox One over the last 5 years. It's
Overkill.
Yeah, a bit overkill, and I've completed on everything. But Zelda's one of those games I will leave for a year, and I'll come back and I'll start the whole thing again because I feel that I haven't experienced everything yet, and there's things I've missed.
Oh, see, I'm two minds about what I've done. I've done the same with Mario. I was like, no. There's two franchises that are some of my favourite franchises of all time. Like, I got to get through it. I got to completely experience. So I arguably rushed for it. And I'd done 200 hours, 500 Koroks, nice round number, set aside my OCD. Done every single side quest, got every single shrine done, all ticked off. Not one guide, not one piece of help. I had to do it that way. Was done, I was burned out, I was satisfied. I didn't buy the DLC because I was like, I'm going to wait till both parts were out, and now I'm like, I should have bought it. I should have done the first bit first because I don't know if I can move on to the second bit without doing it.
See, I bought the DLC, a month ago, and I still haven't got around to playing it because there are other things I want to play. Yeah. And obviously time, it's life, but don't look at it as a bad thing because...
No, it's something less...
It's excitement, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Christmas Day, mate. You'd be on there with your Switch...
Yeah, well...
If your family lets you, anyway.
Yeah, Christmas Day, it's not going to happen, but like...
Christmas night?
Christmas night, yeah.
Mate, sit there, headphones on.
I am apprehensive to go down that rabbit hole because I will be in that rabbit hole. Once I'm in, that's another so many hours a day festering on the sofa. Just like, yeah, got to do all the shrines. I'm looking forward... I don't know how many new shrines are, I don't know. I only know from the trailer what's there. I don't want any more spoiler than that. I was happy to see the motorbike there.
You are going to love... I will give you this little tidbit, what I found from the DLC. It pops up, like side quests do.
Okay.
So the stuff will come up.
Cool.
So it doesn't like load into a new game, it just pops up on the side.
I'm also curious about where the story expansion carries on from the main story, because you beat Ganon, but then the castle's still not defeated, even though the game records that you beat it. Like, it recognises that you've done
and it
the
puts
game.
you back in.
So if the story carries on post game, if it does, I don't know. There's probably
I think it's pre. I think it's before. It's 100 years before.
Yeah, it reflects on the past. But I'm wondering if probably just carries on with more additional stuff to find out about.
Maybe more storyline stuff. Be interesting to see.
I think the motorbike is a really cool feature. At first I was like, what's a motorbike? It's not right. And then all of a sudden I remembered, wait, this game is set in like a post-apocalyptic steampunky, not steampunk, but the closest thing I can think of to like the old rundown technology.
Yeah, that was there.
And shoot laser beams, it's kind of robotic and his arms move back. Of course, it means to have a motorbike style device there. I can't begin in my mind I try and justify it, but I'm happy because it looks like it gets you around a lot quicker, and if you have been around the map and done 500 Koroks plus or even all the Koroks, you don't need to do that. You don't really need to take your time travelling anymore. Now it's about just embracing the additional content.
You're seeing how far that motorbike will get up that mountain, and you flip off it and then glide over to see how far you can get the distance.
Man, it sounds so good.
That's my first thing I'm going to do. What did I say to you when I first got Zelda? I was like, I'm going to see how high I can climb and jump off a mountain. And we had that conversation and we were all like that. But
I just want to touch on one thing with the video game world. I watched all 3 hours of it, and it's actually really good. I enjoyed the 3 hours. It was emulating the Oscars a little bit, except for the Way Out. Obviously, they could swear, they could say whatever they wanted because it was on the internet. And the Way Out developer, if you guys have seen it, one of the developers comes out to talk about his game before a trailer comes up. And I don't know if he was drunk, I don't know if he's off his head on drugs, I don't know if he's just like got social disorders, or I don't even know, but he started swearing, he started saying F the Oscars, he was like going on tangents, and it was just so cringy. Like, this is why we're not quite there yet in the matching the movie industry. So close, but then we sort of take a step back and show our immaturity as a younger, more fledgling industry. But yeah, it was really good. I think all the games that did win their awards did deserve to win their awards. There were some good shouts. Glad Cuphead got a couple. I've never played it, but the art style and knowing about the development of that game.
Cuphead's art style looks beautiful.
It needed the recognition. It was important.
Yeah,
I think.
It's notoriously difficult as well.
A lot of the big AAAs didn't win awards though. You know, Overwatch got best ongoing game and a couple other awards. They had this one bit where they rolled out about 6 awards really quickly, and it even cut to the Overwatch team, and they're looking at each other like, "Wait, we're not going up the stage to collect this award." But yeah, you know, all the big hitters kind of were missing from a lot of awards. A lot of the best writing and the best music went to smaller games, and a lot of VR titles were being showcased, which is great. I love VR. Like, it's great that the awareness is being raised, and ironically, a lot of the VR titles being shown were more cinematic and movie-like in the experience. So it goes to show how it's moving forward at the time. Yeah, great show, and I would recommend watching it back. And not have to watch all 3 hours, but maybe watch the highlights. There are a few good bits. Snippets. Yeah, don't watch 3 hours. There was another big piece of news that I want to touch on. That I love to theorise and dream of the possibilities with the Switch. One of the big bits of news was, if you haven't heard, the Nvidia Shield tablet will be released in China with 3 pre-installed Nintendo games. Official by Nintendo. It's Twilight Princess on the GameCube. It's New Super Mario Brothers New Super Mario Brothers from the Wii, and I forgot the third one now. It's not good. But essentially, it's 3 of Nintendo's biggest games. And
I've forgotten what it is as well.
They're in 1080p.
I know, it's insane. So potentially, they could run on a PC.
Well, I mean, we've got Dolphin, right? Dolphin does. What I find the most interesting is it's 1080p official release from Nintendo of games that are running on the Nvidia Shield, which is like the precursor to Switch. So it has the same processor, but it's underclocked. It's running at a lot lower performance than the Switch. So it proves that the Switch can run these games. It could be a hint towards emulation. It could be that Nintendo's next big thing isn't Virtual Console, it's the GameCube and the Wii backlog. I mean, 1080p, we need is just a few texture reworks here and there, and that's incredible.
Exactly.
You got some of the best library out there that are coming to the Switch.
Mate, roll on Rogue Squadron 2.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's one of the ones I really, really want on there, because it's never been...
EA and the Star Wars license.
I don't know, with the way EA's going, I think Disney will be like, it's 2019, man, it's only over a year away. They lose that license in 2009, and in just over a year. They aren't going to get it back.
I don't know.
Matt, trust me. If Disney is stepping in to tell them...
But why would they?
They stepped in, this is what the rumour is, they stepped in and said, take away...
Yeah, but because...
because they're hammering...
Oh, the gambling association with children, right?
And Disney ain't into that.
Disney.
They're not. You got to face it. Disney are a powerhouse, and EA are just small fry to them. And
yeah. In a massive grand scheme of things,
mate, they paid over $300 million for Star Wars, man. They could probably buy EA and crush them with a wallet.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
It just
Disney's the monopoly in the movie industry now, right? They own all the major franchises, and soon to probably acquire Fox. So, yeah, it's I get that, but EA just seems to be the fit for Disney in terms of EA's kind of like the video game equivalent of that, buying out all the studios, right? Buying out all the brands, and
I get what you're saying. I just think that EA is starting to get burnt a bit by their tactics.
I just don't know what other developer would have. Maybe Ubisoft would have the sort of funds and backing. Maybe Square. Square's worked with Disney before, right? I mean, we've got Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out as well.
Yeah.
I'd be well on Square doing Disney products. I mean, 'cause some of those...
Could you imagine Square
doing
an RPG of Star Wars? Like a proper RPG, none of this rubbish of, we'll give you a single player
not
campaign.
Western like KOTR as well, like probably like that'd be
JRPG style. That'd be quite nuts.
We digress though, but yeah.
But
Rogue Squadron 2 could come.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want Rogue Squadron 2. I want to play Luigi's Mansion again. I would like to see... Double Dash is pretty good.
Double Dash is... Well, it's
quite a sick game.
It's part of Mario Kart history, right?
Exactly.
But then you go onto the Wii, and people will have to knock the Wii, and I will stand by the Wii. I'm probably in the minority. I'm almost certainly in the minority. But I think every good console has 10 good to great games, or great to excellent games, and I think that we had it. Obviously, we had Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, love or hate Skyward Sword. It's a great game. It might not be the best Zelda game, but it's a great game. We've got New Super Mario Brothers, Galaxy 1 and 2.
Galaxy 1 and 2 were absolutely spot on.
Mario
great
Strikers. You may not have played it. Mario Strikers.
No, I never played that.
The most underrated Mario party game there is, and then you got the Mario Party games. So there's quality there. There's Metro Prime 3.
Do you know I bought my brother FIFA 1 year and Pro 1 year for the Wii. We used to play it. It was weird playing it with the motion controllers.
It's a very different game, though. It was actually quite good, especially Pro. Not to knock on FIFA, but Pro done better with the motion controls and the ability to pick out shots and stuff. But I'm still a purist. Pure Pro all the way. But I just think like this announcement could be one of two things. It could either be, or almost certainly is, either and or. So Nintendo have struggled to break into the Chinese market. I mean, it's only recently China's even legally allowed the sale of consoles in their country through Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo, in case you didn't know. And it's part of the reason why the PS4 and the Xbox One are seeing an increase in units sold year on year compared to the previous generation. That's part of the bigger picture. People often forget the fact that they got the China market now. They never had that before with the previous consoles. So that's a big thing. And I think Nintendo doesn't plan, well, from what I understand, doesn't plan to bring the Switch out in China. Bad history of China with hacking and R4 cards and the DS and whatnot. So what better way to soft launch your IP and brands in a market that doesn't really know them? They don't know them as the same as the West, is to bring out them through a partner. Team who made your hardware for your latest console. And I think it's an and scenario where it's a precursor to releasing these same games again on the Switch. And it got me thinking, I don't think Virtual Console is going to be the first thing that comes. I don't think it's going to be called Virtual Console anyway. I stand by that, and we'll look back when it finally does come out. I think they're going to get rid of that moniker.
Do you think you can come up with something like Classics?
Could be. It could be. I just think it can be a different name. It could be part of the reason why they might charge again. It could be part of the reason why they won't charge again. But
they might call it Arcade Classics because
they've got the Arcade Classics already, right? And they've made that a separate thing on the Switch.
That's why I think we'll kind of maybe it's Console Classics. They'll have Arcade Console Classics and kind of roll with it like that.
I think that I've said this before. The SNES Classic Mini, the NES Classic Mini. I think they're test beds for what's to come on the Switch. We've seen Golf or Flog, if you like, is pre-installed in every Switch. I think that's really just a homage to Iota. But again, digressing slightly, I think they will start with the GameCube and Wii games because they're going to launch this online service. They're going to have 3 classic games on there. That much pretty much confirmed. Yeah, or at least significantly hinted at. So I think rather than also have them side by side as games you could buy, the very first games you're going to be able to buy might be like the Metro Prime trilogy. Man, I'll be all over that Metro Prime trilogy on the go. What? That has such a bigger impact. We've been there, we've done the classics.
Don't you think the first 3 games? I think the first 3 games they've released for the Nvidia Shield will be the first 3 games you get.
Yeah. But I think it's like a test bed though, right? This is the hardware. This is what it can do, and this is why you buy it again. It's portable. It matches the screen resolution in which it's outputting to. Yeah. So there's going to be almost no jaggies. It probably will super sample on the actual Switch. It could super sample down to help reduce some of those jaggies even further. And it's just going to look much nicer. So you're going to get a HD. No need for remasters. Don't even set it as a remaster. Just set it as Twilight Princess in outputs to 1080p. Gamers understand that. Yeah. They don't need to.
Definitely.
The market Switch is going for. It doesn't need to give you the small print about what it does and what it can do. That's my hope. And then it's a long shot.
Then sort of summertime we'll see a bit of sunshine. Matching with the sunshine that's outside.
Oh man.
I'd like to play Sunshine again. That was a great game.
This is the beauty of the Switch. And I can't praise the console enough. I was kind of a bit worried about it before it came out, but it has an incredible amount of games releasing every week. Most of them indie, okay? But really high quality indie games that are going toe to toe with some of the AAA stuff. You're getting more sales in the Switch than you are for some of these games with all other systems combined. So there is a demand there. It is a market that matches Nintendo, that matches these type of games that they're bringing. Then they're bringing third-party games which seem to be doing quite well, like Doom and Wolfenstein. There's a demand there. They perform less, but they provide an experience no other platform can provide. there's the sell. But then they can provide so many more games by just having this huge backlog of games that were stuck on the PS3, PS2, Xbox 360, Wii and GameCube era. And people love those games. I mean, I've said before, Metal Gear Solid 4, okay, it might be never come, but I play Metal Gear Solid 4 on the go. It will look just as good as Metal Gear Solid 4 looked. You don't need to tone it down. It can handle it.
True. There were some great games on the PS2. I'd love to see a few sort of pop on.
Don't forget, the biggest difference between the current generation and the previous generation is the graphical fidelity, the tweaks, the extra particle effects, the flares, the high resolution textures, the texture filtering, right? Yeah. Take all that away and you're playing the same game experience. AI is yet to really move forward in significant leaps and bounds. You take a PS3 game and you give it the HD remaster effect of, like, the Uncharted trilogy. It's sellable and passable on the PS4.
But then you got to think of they're reworking Shadows of the Colossus. What is that going to look like?
Yeah, but
it's going to be really interesting to see how that turns out.
That I think is a bit more of a bigger leap from the PS2 era to, like, obviously the current generation, because there was a massive change in, obviously, resolution.
Yeah, well, they HD remade it on the PS3.
Yeah.
But they're actually reworking the entire game.
Reworking it from
ground up.
Rather than remastered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that is for a future video. We won't go too much into discussion of that. But I think it's an interesting view for the 1080p games that have come from the Wii era, the GameCube era.
Yeah, and there's one more point I'd like to say as well, just like about, I've said this from the beginning, this is a new Nintendo. I've been saying this from way back when, and this is no bigger example of it being a new Nintendo than ever before. They've been burned in the past with other companies and IP and responsibility. They've been burned in the past with IP and movie industries, and now they're doing Detective Pikachu movie with apparently Ryan Reynolds. They are doing a Mario movie. They've got a theme park partnership. There's going to be TV programs coming, possibly with Netflix. And they are trusting another company, with both their hardware for the console and with their software in another market. I mean, this is taking all the reins off and going, right, still got control, but we've got to start realising that we are a bigger brand than what we've been confining ourselves to.
Correct. And I think the reason why they probably went for Nvidia is because Nvidia's like, look what we've produced. We make probably the most standout graphics cards.
Yeah, they are the top
tier.
The top tier, right? There's only two, but they're the top.
Yeah, they're top of the tree, aren't they? There isn't anything else. And at the end of the day, if you're going to go for someone, you're not going to go for second best. You're going to go straight for the top boys.
Yeah, and this is it. AMD's cornered the console market now, right?
They have.
And
Nvidia won in.
Both with their own processors, chipsets, and their graphics card. And Nvidia were in there, and they let it go, but they've both grown and are hugely responsible for the increase in the PC market again, and in the AI sector and self-driving cars and stuff like that. They deserve a lot of credit, where credit is due. I still want AMD to really go toe-to-toe with them. But by going with Nintendo, they've basically got their shoehorn in with console gaming again. Yeah, they've done it the right way. Performance to heat, to power.
Yeah.
And that's what you need in a handheld. And
exactly. It is the most powerful handheld. Because remember, all the other ones have been sort of half steps, and now we've got. Remember when you first saw the PSP?
Oh yeah,
the first saw the PSP.
Home console coming to your. It wasn't home. PS3 it was advertised as home console coming to your pocket, and it wasn't. I can't go back to my 3DS, man. I feel really bad. I love that console, but I just.
You can't. I sit there and play it. I'm still. See, I don't mind going through it because I've got a backlog of games I need to get through. See, I got mine later than you.
Yeah, I was there day one.
See, I didn't go day one because I kind of got a bit disillusioned with Nintendo for a while.
Well, my 3DS powered in comparison with the Vita, right? And I hardly play my Vita because games matter.
Yeah, they do.
Well, right? And there are great games on Vita, don't get me wrong, but not the type of games that I was into at the time. But I still got my Vita, I love it, and it looks incredible next to the 3DS in terms of performance, right? And that's when the 3DS launched alongside that, and it was Nintendo's strategy, lower power, better performance. It made sense for 3DS. I totally get it. I had no problems. I have no problems with it. But now it feels like there's like a 15-year gap between what the 3DS can do and what the Switch can do. You look at Mario Kart 7 and Donkey Kong's race course from there, and you look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and you look at the same course, and you're like, what? It's going from like PS1 to
PS4. Yeah, I know what you mean. It definitely has changed. It's definitely improved. But that was our roundup for this week's news.
Long one, but
very
there's
long
a lot of stuff we've needed to say for a while, and it's been good talking to you guys. So it's been Mike
and Riddle.
Stay switched on. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like our content, and hit us up with comments if you have any opinions.
Yeah, do it.
Switched on.
Did that actually stop it?